They use their common sense and collective logic like they always do. And I'm always, my breath is taken away when I see our common citizens behave like they do, how seriously they take it. It is just a hallmark of our great democracy and freedom. They sat down, they spent 6+ days looking at this evidence, and they found this. This was a planned assassination by 3 gentlemen. The other 2 haven't been convicted yet, but their trial is coming. But they found that Aaron Hernandez concocted and orchestrated a plan for whatever reason. And remember, Christina, she excluded all the motive evidence. The jury did not know about what happened really at that nightclub that night, that Lloyd was apparently talking about other murders and had to be silenced. That was out. The Bradley shooting of his eye, he testified, but Judge Garsh did not let him go into the fact that Hernandez shot him in the eye. That was all kept out. At the time, I know the Commonwealth must have been just absolutely wringing their hands, thinking, how can she do this? We need this evidence so bad. We know he did it. We need this evidence, and she excluded it. Now they're obviously thanking this very, very meticulous judge because, as I said, she did a very clean record. Bottom line here is these were his friends. He summoned them. They came to his house. They armed themselves. They picked up Lloyd. They took him to an industrial park. They shot him. And they went back and for a couple of days hung together, at least one day hung together. And then afterwards, there clearly was a cover-up. The cleaning service, the box, the payment to Wallace, $500, all of the attempts of Hernandez to orchestrate this. From day one, he was orchestrating this. The lie to Robert Kraft, the concocting of an alibi. So there is ample evidence, Christina, in this record to sustain a murder won by extreme cruelty or atrocity. There was evidence also on premeditation. This looked like a completely premeditated plot. And I think the defense made a big gamble when they, in closing argument, and I think Jamie Sultan, the defense lawyer, did a great job in closing argument. His closing argument, he got more out of such little evidence than you could ever imagine. And what they made a big gamble. They just decided, look, the evidence was clear that Hernandez was there. He was driving the car. Forget about the bubble gum on the shell casing. There was a shell casing in his car. It had his DNA on it. There was a marijuana butt at the scene. It had his DNA on it. The forensic scientist said 1 in a quadrillion. I could be wrong. 1 in a quadrillion. Jury's going to credit that scientist. And they're going to find he was at the scene. So the defense did what they should have done. He was at the scene. But these angel dust PCP co-defendants must have spontaneously, without his permission, without his participation, without his consent, these guys must have just gone off on angel dust and shot him 6 times. That may have floated, Christina, if the jury didn't get to watch his post-murder conduct. This wasn't a shocked friend. This wasn't a guy when you watch him walk in, when he parks the Altima 8 minutes later and walks into his house and goes downstairs and starts hanging with Ortiz and Wallace, and they're hanging out at the pool the next day, and he hands the baby to Wallace. Here, go to Wallace. This isn't a guy who is just shocked that 2 of his friends that he called up from Connecticut on angel dust or whatever, on their own, spontaneously, with no encouragement from Aaron Hernandez, just shot his friend Odin Lloyd. That the jury just wasn't going to buy it because jurors almost always use their common sense and logic. They take it seriously. And obviously, Christina, somebody in that jury room, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 4, maybe 5, they had questions. There was no murder weapon. That bothered them. There wasn't any direct evidence of what he did, how he was even murdered, how Lloyd was even murdered. That bothered them, and they raised those questions. If and when you get to talk to the jury, I know you're going to find people are going to say, yeah, we had a lot of questions and we debated it, but at the end, their collective goodness, decency, moral, fairness, and following of the law got them to what I consider to be a very warranted, justified verdict.
Okay, WBZ legal analyst Terry Manion, we appreciate your insight on this.